Welcome to another edition of the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Ernest EJ Christian, coming to you, actually in a very cold South Florida here. On the line with me, of course, my co-host for Wrestling Savants, Mike. This would have been here. Mikey, what's going on?
Why did WWE think the Punjabi prison match was a good idea?
I can't speak on that. That's not my era. And, of course, Muriel J. Lopez. You can find on Twitter at,
Yes, you can find me on Twitter. I give 5-star reviews of every Punjabi prison match.
It's kind of
exclusively on Twitter. I give these reviews. So
you do have a Twitter account, right? That you just don't publish.
I have two actually. I just don't use them.
Wait, so you got a burner account too on top of that? So you're not on Twitter, but you have two accounts. One's a burner.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Make up your fucking mind, buddy.
I do have two. That is a real thing. I have one from when I wanted to care, and then I have one from when I was trying to get a movie blog off the ground, and I don't even remember the password to either. So,
how'd that go? The movie blog.
I mean, it's still a thing I do occasionally, like a movie review video thing. But,
dude, show me.
Yeah,
send me a link.
I'll send you a link later.
Yeah, of course. Come on. I like movie reviews. I got a lot of buddies who do that kind of stuff, man. I love that.
Hell yeah, I'll send you a link later.
Fuck yeah. Let's go. Anyway, of course, this podcast you can find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. Am I missing anything, guys?
If you can name it, it's there.
Yeah. Podcast catchers. Castbox, whatever it may be. All right, so...
I hear we're coming out in Braille soon.
Oh.
Is that true?
Don't. That's news to me.
Wait, Braille's for blind people. We're a podcast.
I know.
Never mind.
Well, it's audio, so whatever. I only got one piece of news really to share on here for this week, really. Well, two when I count the ratings war. We can go ahead and do that. Number one, Charlotte Flair and Andrade announced the engagement early in the week. The two lovebirds. Been dating about a year, I think, right? About a year. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess.
Nice little another power couple. How many couples are there right now in WWE and now out publicly? You have those two. You have Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. You got who else?
I'm gonna guess the over/under is 1,738.
Well, you have Seth and Becky, obviously.
Of course, that's the top to be top, of course.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure what's his name? What's his name from the Street Profits is dating Bianca Belair.
Montez Ford.
Yeah.
Candice and Johnny.
Yes, Candice and Johnny.
Mia Yim and Keith Lee.
Right.
And then you have also cross company one between Britt Baker and Adam Cole, baby.
There you go.
You also have the split of who is it? God damn it. There's another. Sean Spears and Peyton Royce.
Right.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
I think, to me, the craziest thing with Andrade and Charlotte is that their grandkids are going to literally be like the wrestling royalty. Like it's the closest thing to having like Prince William and his wife having a child in wrestling terms. Because I mean,
yeah, that's a good comparison.
Right, like first of all, Andrade himself is already a third generation wrestler, from Lucha Libre, which as I've explained, every Lucha Libre wrestler at this point is either a junior or a third or the son of someone or the brother of someone, El Hijo, whatever. I personally think that at some point there was literally only one luchador and every luchador can be drawn back to that luchador. So, Andrade, part of that whole luchador thing. And then obviously on the other side, I mean, Ric Flair's your grandfather. Does it get better than that as a wrestling royalty?
Woo!
Right.
Ric Flair, drip, go, woo.
There you go.
That's right. Okay, so we got three takes here today. We're gonna share. We got a really special one on the back end of the show.
Before you get to the takes, because 1/3 of our crew has not completed both nights of Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Kingdom will probably be discussed on next week's show as part of the news department. So if you're looking for Wrestle Kingdom takes, that'll be on next week's show.
You know what we could do if we wanted to, since I didn't watch it, we can do it.
I didn't watch it either. He was actually only 1/3 has actually completed it, to be fair.
Well, I will be honest with you, like, because I probably won't be able to watch it in time with my fucking schedule as it is. If you wanted to, you could do a bonus episode, focus on that.
I think we can just fit it into next week because I'll get to watch it between now and next week.
Okay. I'm just trying to give you guys a little time to, a little bit of...
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, anyway, I'm going to start this week's take because I want to get it fired. I'm fired up about AEW this week. I'm always fired about AEW this week, about AEW on the show. But I thought this week their show, the first show of 2020, and I think you had said, Mike, also, last week that they really need to come out the shoot with a pretty strong, and I thought they did. I'll go so far as said it was probably the best show they've done since debuting in October. Very encouraged so far, and I'll tell you why. Number one, the women's division, I felt for the first time ever, it looked like there's actually some positive direction for the first time, and maybe it's because of the fact that Rio's wrestling, number one, and and was it Sheeta, the other girl, the other girls on there?
Yes,
Sheeta.
Yes.
Nyla Rose back from suspension, whatever. It just felt like for the first time the women's division had a direction. Like it felt like it's getting its shit together. Look, is it gonna be better than WWE's or whatever, NXT, whatever? No, I don't see that at this point. But right now they are better in this moment and more, I would say, positive, like if you want to put it, than they were, say, in October and November. So that was encouraging. I also love the fact
couldn't get worse.
Well, right, but you couldn't get worse. You just, but also the way the show was formatted. I love how they mixed up the matches weren't too long. I thought that I love the fact they went backstage a lot more this episode. The piece with Pirate Party and Adam Page, Hangman Page, was fun. At the bar, I thought it was pretty cool. Although I'm not sure you'd be a fan. I'm not sure if you're a fan of the direction that Page is going in. Mike, we'll get that in a second. I thought the show, the look of the show, I thought the building they're in. Now, granted, it's a different building from what we've done. I like the look of the show. It just felt like a more energetic show, a show with more direction. Dustin Rhodes was incredible, by the way. A little tease for MVP, by the way. And I don't know. I just felt like this show gave me everything I've been looking for the last 3 months. And I'm not saying AEW hasn't been good, but there's been some dead spots. And I thought this was actually a near perfect show, honestly. So I can't complain at all.
This was the same venue that they were at for Fight for the Fallen.
Okay, I missed that MVP. I missed that pay-per-view, so.
The women's division could only improve because if it got any worse, then it would literally not exist. Now, the big thing here, the only the real promising thing out of that was the post match going through the table and then Britt Baker basically calling Rio out for never being there.
That was
which
cool.
I always thought was going to be a problem. Like, you're going to put a title on a woman who lives in Japan and is going to be over there for an extended period of time. So maybe that just doesn't make a ton of sense. I've also said that on this podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I hated the ending segment. I loved the match between the Elite and Lucha Bros and Pac. But Cody runs out and, it's all, hey, we're the Elite. Wee! They try to get Hangman out there. Hangman's got a cocktail in his hand. No, I didn't do anything. I don't like the way that they're portraying Adam Page because every segment he's in now, he has a cocktail in his hand. Just kind of comes off very like
stereotypish.
We're trying to build him into an alcoholic. Which I feel like if anybody on this roster should be given like the green light to be a character and have great in-ring matches, it should be Page because of how good he is in ring. And I feel like they're taking away from it by trying to do this alcoholic or this is the reason why I'm going to eventually turn heel is because alcohol is leading me to it. Or, maybe he's the leader of the Dark Order. Who the hell knows? Can we talk about that? Because obviously there seems to be a higher power in the Dark Order based off of the
there is
segment. Yeah. Who is it?
I don't know. I have no clue.
I have a prediction.
Okay.
Who?
Shoot.
First off, the easy prediction that everybody else is gonna give you is Marty.
Oh, Marty Scurll?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna one up it.
Oh, one up.
I think it's a member of the roster currently. I feel like it's a guy who should have been in the AEW tag title tournament until he was hurt. The Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can actually really see that.
He turns on SCU, becomes the leader of the Dark Order. Kazarian and
I can definitely see that, buddy. I like that.
Scorpio Sky basically become the new Primetime, Elix Skipper, and Christopher Daniels from Impact Wrestling whenever they were feuding with America's Most Wanted. So, yeah.
Just so we're clear, Christopher Daniels is the one that's kind of like playing the manager role right now, right?
Yeah, the bald one.
Right, so just so we're clear, okay.
Fallen Angel.
He was supposed to be in the match, or in the tournament. Pentagon hit him with the package pile driver,
right?
Took him out. That's why I think that makes a ton of sense.
Was that kayfabe though, you think? Or was that just
I think he was dinged up and needed some time, or that was if he wasn't dinged up, then that's been this is how we're getting to the Dark Order.
Does the Dark Order remind you of the Ministry of Darkness a little bit? Just a little bit?
A little, but I mean the real question here,
I don't get that.
Okay.
It does a little because of the people coming out and just randomly brawling.
Right.
Yeah, but when it was the Ministry of Darkness, at least they were people who you sort of knew.
Well, we can't compare it. Well, right. I'm just saying the actual format, not so much the people in there. Right. That's the way the direction the whole thing's going.
I mean, they did get Alex Reynolds and John Silver to put creeper masks on and become members of the.
Yeah, that was interesting. I like that aspect of it. I think this. So this week the skit they did with the Dark Order is probably one of the better things that they've done. As opposed to some of the other skits, and we didn't have to watch we didn't have to watch Fat Man, White Boy, depressed that he didn't have any friends decide to join the Dark Order. That was stupid. I hated that, honestly. I was over that. So I'm kind of happy that they moved away from that, and I would totally be down to see Christopher Daniels as the guy.
If it's not Daniels, what are the other options? I mean, obviously, if they could get Marty, it would be Marty. But you're looking at a 6-month build before that makes any kind of sense, because he just signed with NWA to do whatever with them. So how long his contract is there is.
He's also still working with ROH apparently.
Who, Marty Scurll?
So,
yeah.
Yes.
Here's my question. Cause obviously, I know who he is. I'm not familiar with his work, but he's obviously a big name in the industry.
Yeah.
Could he legitimize Dark Order and make it more okay?
Yes.
Right now, we all agree Dark Order is kind of meh, whatever. But Marty Scurll becomes the lead dog, and all of a sudden, oh shit, okay, now it's cool.
So the thing with Marty Scurll is he was part of the Elite, and that's why everyone sort of thought that when all these other guys left ROH to go and start AEW, it was always kind of an assumption that him and also another wrestler in ROH named Flip Kendrick. No, not Flip Kendrick. Wow, that's an old school name. Flip Gordon.
Doc Hendricks?
Yeah. Flip Kendrick was JAPW in 2008. I just went old. Wow, I don't know whatever happened to him. But Flip Gordon. So those guys, everyone sort of expected, it was obvious they would just go to AEW, and they didn't. And at this point, it seems like eventually they still might. But that's why, it would be interesting if Marty showed up in a different role as opposed to just being hey, I'm here, So it would legitimize the Dark Order for sure. I absolutely agree. I don't think it's going to happen, but I do think that he would be perfect.
Oh, I don't think it's going to happen either. That's why I said I feel like it's somebody that's already within the company, which is why I went with Christopher Daniels. Because there
I
isn't
can see that.
I like that. I like that idea, Mike. I like that.
I like that too, honestly. The only other person that I could see it being from outside the company is a Jimmy Jacobs, but honestly, that wouldn't pop people who don't know why that's cool. Ernest, if Jimmy Jacobs showed up, Ernest would be
Who's that?
Why the fuck do I care that this like 5'6" dude is the leader of the Dark Order?
Yeah.
As
Correct.
like you and I would be like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Like Age of the Fall, like do it for her. But anyone who wasn't a Ring of Honor fan back in 2010 is basically going to be like, I don't know who you are and I don't know why you're here. Like,
yeah. The other name that I saw floating around, obvious one since he just got released from WWE, was Harper.
Ooh. And that actually makes sense too, because he has a look for that too, especially.
See, the thing I like about that is I feel like Harper coming to AEW is an eventuality. I feel like that should happen. He's a fantastic wrestler. He's a great talent. I would love it. I like the idea of putting him in a leader role because we're so used to seeing him as a follower, and it would be a really good chance to almost like reinvent him. And it would be the thing he needs to be catapulted towards like a main event run.
Oh yeah, I think that would make a ton of sense for his role if he came in. If not, then I feel like he would have to come in some kind of other. I'm not going to say leadership role, but as like one of those like tough guys that just comes in and tries to run through everybody.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting. The other big takeaway from the show that I had was MJF's stipulations for Cody.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that Wardlow's finally going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I like that his first match is going to be a steel cage match. And I felt like there could have been other stipulations that he could have used besides the generic "don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me," prototypical heel thing. So other than that, I'm kind of intrigued to see what happens. I don't know. Are they going to have that match the same night that he's going to fight MJF for the or is it going to be like that?
I don't know.
Which match? The Wardlow match, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if it's going to be like a setup where it's like he has to fight Wardlow, and then that same night fight MJF at the pay-per-view.
The vibe I got was that he'll fight Wardlow probably on Dynamite at some point, and then Revolution would be the match that they ended all the feud hit its climax, of course.
That's what I would think, but I just love the fact that they built up this Wardlow guy, gave him a promo segment on.
I'm just glad they actually moving the fucking storyline in direction, and that's all took from the week for me was that the storylines finally felt like they were moving at a faster pace this week.
I agree with you on that. Actually, I just got done telling you guys I watched most of the episode. I came about a half hour short because I started watching it about an hour and a half ago.
Right.
But I enjoyed. First of all, I enjoyed a lot of the wrestling on it. I thought every match was really good. I really liked the opener. I thought that was a really good
Darby and Cody
good match. Huh?
Darby and Cody.
Yeah. Darby and Cody was a great match. Like that was just really good stuff. Better than their first match, in my opinion.
Yes.
The women's 4-way was really good stuff. I'm actually a really big fan of the women's division in AEW. I think that Rio loses the title next week to Statlander. Yeah. Did I say her name right?
Yeah.
Chris cool. Starship Payne.
I think she was going to win tonight on this past Wednesday night. I think the fact that she couldn't be there, they just probably asked Rio if it was okay if she sticks around in America an extra week.
Well, that her getting hurt too, especially kayfabe on the episode at the end of the match, kind of helps the storyline move too.
Right, exactly. And honestly, they're finally using Nyla in a way that they've needed to. She should be a monster. She should be looking unstoppable.
Here's my question, Joe. I'm glad you said that. Here's my question. Because the night Rio won the title, I was saying to myself, why shouldn't Nyla have the belt instead of Rio? Shouldn't you be building the monster first and then make the girls chase Nyla, and then whoever woman decides to overcome that, become the champion based on Nyla?
Probably.
No.
So, well, the thing is, I think they get away with it when they have like 4-way matches and Nyla doesn't actually have to be the one that loses.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's no denying that when she lost that women's title match, it kind of derailed her team to the point where like she had to almost disappear for a few weeks just to be able to come back and be like fresh.
Well, she did.
And now and now we're at that point. We're at that point where she's back, she's a monster again, and it can work. The fact that now, if things go the way I think they will, if Rio loses to Statlander next week, then the title's out of the picture. Maybe Rio sticks around for another episode, and you can give Nyla the win over her, and build that monster.
Right.
I would keep Nyla away from the title anytime soon.
Yeah.
But you can build her into a monster now.
Right.
They have a chance to reset.
I'll tell you what came out pretty good in this match, though, especially too, is Hikaru Shida came out really good in this match.
Yes, I agree.
Michael,
I mean,
how much time on the clock? By the way,
it was lacking in Big Swole, but otherwise it was a really good match. Hey, do not groan. That woman is a 10-time WNBA MVP.
By the way, Joe, I don't know if Mike told you this though. At work, whenever I leave to go home and I see him, I go like, "All right, Big Swole, see ya."
That's amazing. He has not told me that.
How much time on the clock, Michael?
4 minutes.
Okay. By the way, another big takeaway too from this show. John Moxley looked like a superstar. The crowd was fucking old. Like it wasn't quite Austin because crowds don't do that anymore because different environment. But I was getting like Austin flashbacks when he was going through the crowd.
I agree with you. Honestly, that's the thing. This episode, a lot of people looked like $1 million.
Yeah.
Just like that car. Like Moxley looked like $1 million. Sammy Guevara looked fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he got like some great mic time.
He could have a shit match and you'd think he looked fantastic. Don't lie.
No, but I mean, like...
He's a great heel, though, man. He's a great heel.
That's the thing. Like, he is a great heel. It was good seeing him get, like, mic time and stuff like that. Like, that's what I enjoy.
He's a good heel. He's not a great heel.
Okay, fine.
He's not a great heel, but that's because he's still young and he's still learning.
Yeah, Mike, you're right. He ain't MJF. He's a great heel.
Right.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
And the thing is, like, and also let's be real here too. And I know I've said this before during his time in AEW, but Dustin Rhodes is literally having like the best wrestling of his career.
Again,
in AEW.
I'm gonna go. I teased it earlier. MVP of the week. I already teased it.
The world title on him.
I'd be okay with that.
Honestly, after what I saw, because you said that 2 weeks ago, Mike, on the show about how to track the title next in 2020. And then I saw that match last week against Guevara. Was it Guevara he was fighting that night? Well, no. Yeah, it was Guevara. Yeah, and I could see even if it's for a month a title on him. Honestly,
oh yeah, he doesn't need a 6-month run.
No doubt. No, he does not. I agree with you 100% on that one. He looks great.
Yeah, give him a in between run from Moxley to him to then a heel Cody wins it from him.
Yeah.
I can see that.
By the way,
MJF beats Dustin, leading to Cody defending his brother after MJF takes him out or something. I don't know.
By the way, this be another take for itself one day, but I'm going to ask anyway. Could I argue, because I think their tag team division is actually the best thing about the company right now. AEW's.
Yes.
Could I argue on par with probably WWE's tag team?
No. Okay. So wait. Here's the thing, right? I don't know that I think that the tag team division is the best part of AEW. I do think it's the best tag team division in pro wrestling. Period. Though. I don't know that any other company has as much of a focus or as many good teams.
Then that means you're actually huge in AEW then.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love AEW, and I'm just saying, like, I think that there are other things in AEW individually that might be better than just the tag division. But
you also have to think, if you put all of the teams that WWE had on the same roster and compared them, it would be different than a company having only having one show and having one thing. So hypothetically,
but I also feel like WWE wouldn't know what to do with that many.
You're correct,
all
Mike, on that.
Place.
Yeah, Joe's correct, and Mike, you're correct. You said there, but the thing is, though, it's not about the talent; it's about the storylines. Like WWE, Raw, SmackDown, both has great tag teams, Revival, New Day, you name it, but they don't do anything with it creatively. AEW, I feel like they're at least getting something out of their teams.
But what are they getting out of their teams? A
Great
6-man tag match?
Great matches, number one. Good storylines. They get involved in storylines.
What? Hold on. Let's.
That's timer. I heard it. Take your pills.
Well, you know what? We'll say this for a topic next week. That'll be a topic next week.
No.
I like it.
No, I'd rather you answer the question now. What storylines do they have in their tag division, with the exception of the Dark Order?
No, wait. We got rules here, mister. We should save that for next week.
No, because I know exactly what's going to happen. This topic isn't going to get brought up, and then I'm going to bring it up during the news segment, and you guys are going to sit there and have another episode to fucking try to pick from. At the end of the day, there isn't a storyline involving a tag team unless it's the Dark Order, and that's it. The SCU hasn't defended their title since they won them, except for maybe once. They're not in the storyline against it. Against who? The Young Bucks and who?
I feel like they defended against someone else also. Didn't they kind of against Jericho and Sammy? Wasn't that the whole reason why Scorpio Sky got a title?
No, that wasn't a time. That was a time.
That was a non-title match.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they're not. They don't have a storyline / feud. Neither do the Young Bucks. It's just 6-man tag match here, 6-man tag match there. Who are the Lucha Bros feuding with?
Everybody.
Proud and Powerful come in, and all they've been has been lackeys for Jericho.
They've been feuding with the Young Bucks. To be fair,
remember, to be fair, they're still 3 months old. Like WWE is a well-established thing, and look, the Viking Raiders aren't going anywhere. The Viking Raiders
all I'm doing is picking apart your argument. You said that their tag division has these feuds and storylines. I would argue their tag team division does not.
I would argue that the Young Bucks and Pride and Prejudice have been feuding with each other. And it seems to finally be like settling down. Best Friends was sort of feuding with the Lucha Brothers for a hot minute, and I kind of enjoyed that.
They got a break too because they're only 3 months into TV right now.
You can't give them a break if you're saying that the entire tag division has rivalries and storylines.
Okay, maybe the storylines. Maybe we went on board the storylines there, but I enjoy the tag division in AEW better than I do in Raw and SmackDown.
I do too, but the argument that it's because WWE doesn't know what to do with that's fine. But to say that the tag team division is so much better because of the storylines, there are no storylines.
Okay, fine. I'll give you, Mike. I will give you that. I'm just saying that Raw and SmackDown has more resources. They have just as good as tag team, not better, and yet they're doing dick with it. In other words.
Okay, but when was the last time the WWE had a good tag division that they actually did something with? 1992.
But isn't that the point?
90, 89, 88?
Okay.
But isn't that the point?
The Rougeau brothers?
Okay, but the thing is, I have yet to say that AEW didn't have the superior tag team division. What I'm saying is your guys' argument is because it being about storylines is not the reason why it's better.
We gave you that. We gave you that. So...
I mean, I just think they have a great tag division just based on the teams, but I do think there are storylines.
If I put 9 teams that WWE has together on one roster and just went depth against depth, I would probably lean towards WWE.
Well, I mean, I would have more depth, of course, but
I'm saying, how many solidified tag teams does AEW have?
Okay, Santana and Ortiz, Young Bucks, Best
Friends,
SCU. Young, fucking Dark Order's not one, right? I won't call it.
Yes, they are.
Okay, Dark Order.
They are.
That's 5.
They've competed. Yeah, that's 5.
Jurassic Express.
Jurassic Express is 6.
Private Party.
That's right.
Private 7. Party is 7.
Butcher and the Blade.
That's 8.
Oh, they got a storyline to feud with fucking Cody and all those fucking people.
Everybody's feuding with Cody.
Well, of course.
It's still a storyline. It still counts.
That's
true. And then the last.
Okay, wait. We've gone mad over on.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go to the next one.
It's the Rhodes Brothers. So we have 9 solidified tag teams. Okay, I'm telling you, if I put 9 teams from WWE / NXT and put them on one roster, I would end up taking WWE over just on a depth standpoint.
Okay. All right. Next topic. Michael, I think you, right? Oh, this is Joe, right?
Yeah, this is mine since it got moved to this week's show because Joe Lopez promised that he'd have a top 10 list.
Do you have one, Joe?
Matches of the
what?
Do you have a top 10 list this week finally?
Porque?
Oh, wait, that means no.
No, he never has a list.
I have a rough draft. I have like 7 matches I wrote down.
Do you have a lexicon? Do you have a lexicon of Joe Lopez?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Erdich, one of the funny things?
What's that?
The 7 matches he has written down is 6 more than he had last week.
Yes, it is.
Oh my god.
It really is.
I know him all too well.
I think I have 9 now, actually, after I talk to you.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so my top 10 has a little bit of everything. I feel like the best way to go about this one is to just do. We'll each give our 10th place, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll move on to the next one rather than going full list for full list, because I feel like we could get lost in the shuffle.
Okay, wait, I need a pen. Okay.
All right, so my 10th place match of the decade comes to us from Reseda, California, and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. It is the world's cutest tag team, Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae, who is now in NXT, taking on the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, in a guerrilla warfare match at PWG 11. It was for the PWG World Tag Team Champions. This match was an absolute brawl. It included the Young Bucks super kicking Candice LeRae wearing Air Force Ones covered in thumbtacks. Candice bled throughout, I think, pretty much this entire match. It was an absolute war, aka guerrilla warfare. I loved this match. I loved the storyline behind it because it was Candice's coming out party in the intergender wrestling frame, I guess. A lot of people don't like when men and women wrestle, but Candice really held her own in this match. Really took it to the Young Bucks. She also put on the Super Dragon mask and brought out the Super Dragon Fists of Fury that I love ever so much. So I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for this match in this decade. So number 10, World's Cutest Tag Team against the Young Bucks Guerrilla Warfare at PWG 11.
Nice. Does that mean it's my turn?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to call this number 10, but I don't promise that I have 10, so this is just whatever the lowest number is.
You're the worst, Joe. That's why.
But I'm gonna start my list off at the bottom, and mostly because it's a more recent match, but I really do think it deserves a place on here, and that's Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston at last year's WrestleMania. I think they had one of the better WrestleMania matches that we've gotten in the last decade. Certainly one of the better ones, not involving a guy not named Shawn Michaels or The Undertaker or anyone like that.
Correct.
It was incredible. It was a moment where if you've been a fan for a long time, if you've been following Kofi Kingston, you finally got to see him come up in a way that I feel like a lot of guys who, not to say flounder, I feel like it's a mean word, but who spend most of their time in the mid-card, like they never really get to that moment 11 years later, and Kofi did it, and it was incredible, and he had the perfect opponent, and it was the return of Bryan to WrestleMania, which was just exciting as hell. There's so much about that I just loved, and it deserves its place on any top 10 list for the decade.
I agree. It just missed mine. It was an honorable mention, as was Cody versus Dustin. But yeah, I definitely love that match. Number 9 for me is a women's match from NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn. It was Sasha Banks versus Bayley. Real coming out party for the two of them. They got the big fight feel. They got the big build to this match. It was a really, really, really good match. Bayley hits a reverse Hurricane Rana off the top rope. Finishes it with the Bayley to belly off the top. It was pretty awesome, if you ask me. So, big fan of this match. I loved everything that they did. I loved the build up to it on NXT television, and I just love the fact that this match got as much time as it did. So, I felt like if I had to pay homage to a match in the women's division in WWE in 2010 to 2019, that this match made the most sense to be the top of the measuring stick.
That makes a lot of sense. It's funny. I tried to think of a women's match to add on here, and honestly, I don't know that any women's match so far has quite hit that level for me.
Mm.
And I think that they'll get there. I think that they're close. And I certainly think that the one you're putting out there is probably maybe the best of the best so far. So I'm glad to see that you put it on your list. But in my hastily made list that I'm still making as I speak, it didn't quite get there for me.
Oh yeah, I understand. I get it.
Yes.
Because you're still making your list right now.
I mean, I might just be writing as we speak. You should probably just do your next one, because, let's be real.
All right. Why not? Let's do it.
I've got a top 5 right here.
Oh, yeah. My number 8 match of the decade comes to us from the land of the rising. 2017 Sakura Genesis. Kazuchika Okada versus Katsuyori Shibata.
Nice.
I went back and made it an absolute purpose to rewatch this match this week. Talked to Joe about it privately. The fact that I watched where he threw the headbutt and you could tell right away that something wasn't right. He ended up having a subdermal hematoma from it. And watching him, walk to the back and basically stagger and not be able to make it back in one piece, and you could already see that his arm was going numb and all this. And I don't know if it's a Japan regular C or anything like that, but him walking, like him and Okada laying in the ring once the match ended, and you could just see that both of those guys looked like they had lost about 97 ounces of fluid just from the sweat.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like intended to be hot in those buildings, but for some reason, after watching New Japan shows, it literally looks like they just ran a triathlon. Like after most shows, when the main event goes 35 minutes plus, it literally looks like those guys have worn a sauna suit and just went for a run.
Yeah, for real.
So I'm like, I don't know if that really, I don't know if it's a thing that they should really like start looking into, because that just doesn't look like it's healthy. And of course, Shibata has this match, gets defeated, like I said, has the subdermal hematoma, has not wrestled in a match since.
I think they're used to it, though.
Yeah, probably. Dave Meltzer reported that Shibata would never be cleared to wrestle again. New Japan was looking to sign him as a full-time coach, which he is in their LA dojo. He did come out at the 2017 G1 and said, "I'm still alive." He did a back bump and walked out of the ring, was managing Kenta before Kenta turned on him and joined Bullet Club. It's literally like, when you think about it, if he could come back, I think he would be the reaction would be through the roof.
It would be.
I mean, me and you were both of the hopeful mindset that something would happen at Wrestle Kingdom, and I told you if it didn't, there would be a riot. Well, you said you wanted to see the video. I have to record said video, so I guess you understand that there was no Shibata. I can give you that spoiler because that's not a
real spoiler. Yeah. That's a spoiler, like saying CM Punk didn't show up.
Yeah.
All right. I'm in at number 7. So when you get to number 7, I got the rest.
All right, we're good. We're at 7.
Okay, got this.
Go ahead.
Wait, are we up to 7?
Yeah, this is I'm at number 7. So I had Shibata.
All right. Well,
Okada.
my number 7 is Okada versus Omega. Specifically, my favorite of their series. It's the shortest one. I think we established last week it was their G1 match.
Yes.
I think that match is incredible. Like I said, I think all their matches are incredible. And if you're a wrestling fan, just do yourself a service and watch them. I'm not a big fan of really long matches. I think I'm still slightly traumatized from the time that there was a blizzard outside while Austin Aries and Tyler Black decided to go as long as they possibly could at the Manhattan Center. So I'm not right. I'm not the biggest fan of 60-minute matches or anything like that. The fact that these guys can have these epic matches, but then also have this 30-minute match and make it just as incredible. I love that. And to me, they put so much into that 30 minutes. It's just, it's incredible to see. So I had to have that on my list.
I don't hate it.
Good.
I don't hate it. It didn't make mine, but I don't hate it. At number 7, I have a match from the United Kingdom. NXT UK Cardiff, the TakeOver show, Walter versus Tyler Bate.
Oh, nice.
That match was about as hard-hitting as you could imagine. Those guys left it all out in the ring. Bate, the former NXT UK champion, versus the current champion, Walter. Those guys literally, like I said, they beat each other from pillar to post. Bate almost won it a couple of times, had a couple of really good near falls. Believable small guy giving the big guy a run for his money. I loved that match a lot. I thought it had really great peaks and valleys, and it kept Walter looking strong, being the leader of Imperium and the big heel over in the United Kingdom. So, yay, number 7.
I like that.
All right, you're on the board for number 6.
All right, so number 6 for me, I think this is one of those major feuds from the decade that needed to be represented here. This one was in the wonderful land of NXT. It involved two guys who, everything that they did was just absolutely incredible against each other. Everything they did, even when they were a tag team, was absolutely incredible. And that's Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, who, the fact I was never a fan of his in ROH, so the fact that he's become one of my favorite wrestlers does say a lot about everything that's happened with him in NXT. Their match at NXT in New Orleans, WrestleMania weekend that year, absolutely incredible. It's one of those matches that has a whole bunch of callbacks to the feud that they've had. It was built up. It was incredible. It really just was. I'm pretty sure that's even the match where people like Ciampa was getting hurt and people were chanting at him, "You deserve it." Like, that's the level of heel Ciampa was at that time. But their feud is incredible. Their matches are incredible. I mean, if you ever want to see what a 5-star match looks like, you gotta just watch that match.
Speaking of that match, I just turned it on the network.
Nice.
So, my number 6 comes to us from Ring of Honor. My number 6 match is the ladder match between El Generico and Kevin Steen at Final Battle 2010. Or was that not a ladder match?
That was not a ladder match. That was just a regular grudge match. They did a ladder match, I want to say, either 11 or 12.
Okay, well, 2010, the one where it was like Masked versus...
Yes. Yeah,
that match kicked ass, to put it, in relative easy terms. Yeah, I really liked that match. I thought it was epic. Those guys kicked each other's asses for probably a solid 20 minutes and left everything they had in that ring. I love Generico and Steen. They're the same as Ciampa and Gargano, feuding or teaming together. Yep. I think that they're like gold. So I loved that match. I thought it was really, really good. I thought both those guys really worked their butts off. So I think that was an easy one to put in my top 10. Probably one of the easiest ones for me to actually put in my top 10. It was just where I was going to put it once I got the other 10 figured out. So I have 6. So it pays homage to the feud, one of our feuds of the decade.
Nice. You want me to hit you with number 5? You ready for this?
Hit me with it.
All right. I was at this show. The show, a lot of people remember it more because Roman Reigns was almost booed out of the building, even when The Rock came out to try and be like...
He was booed out of the building.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He was booed out of the building. You're right.
Was booed out of the building.
This is Royal Rumble 2015. The match to me that I literally remember very vividly, that when... And that was the thing, like, I didn't go back. I didn't do a ton of research to make this list in the last 10 minutes. I just kind of thought of matches that, stood out in my memory from having watched them, because obviously I've watched a lot of wrestling in the last 10 years. And if you can stand out in my memory from there, you're probably a pretty good match. So at my number 5, I've got I think it was a WWE title match between Brock Lesnar and John Cena and Seth friggin' Rollins. That 3-way match is incredible. It's honestly the first really amazing performance of Seth Rollins' WWE career. And the fact that he was in there with Brock and John Cena and was able to stand out and honestly kind of be the star of that match, that says so much about Seth. I love that 3-way. I thought it was really unexpectedly great, and I think it's worth checking out if you've never seen it.
Yeah, I really like that match. It did not make my top 10, but once you brought it up to me in our chat, it definitely kicked back some memories, and I was like, yeah, that really was a really good match. And I told
it just was.
That match and the Royal Rumble match were the only 2 matches that really stood out, and the Royal Rumble match only stood out because Roman got booed out of the building.
Yeah.
At number 5, I have a match from an NXT takeover. It comes to us from Chicago. It was the United Kingdom title match between Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne.
Pete fucking Dunne.
Pete fucking Dunne.
Pete fucking Dunne.
Yeah. I love Pete. This match was probably the second best takeover match to me throughout all of the decade, and that's going back through all of the takeovers. Those guys really left it all out on the table. They left nothing to the imagination. They beat each other from pillar to post. Pete with the finger breaks and bait, basically just destroying Dunn at any chance. Dunn gets the win, wins the UK title, and starts his record-breaking reign as champion.
Yes.
Big fan of Pete Dunne. Big fan of that match.
You know what's really funny?
You had that at number 4?
I have that at number 4. Yes. I might argue that was probably the best match I've ever seen at NXT TakeOver. I think that was a 5-star match. That was I remember thinking to myself when that match was over that like these two are almost like a modern day Ric Flair and Sting in terms of the chemistry they have with each other. And that match is the match where you can see that. I love that match.
Yes. The only match I have above it is the match I have at number 4. You had it at number 6 on your list. Johnny Takeover versus Tommaso Ciampa, NXT Takeover New Orleans, the unsanctioned match that I currently have on right now. We were there live, sitting like 3 rows from the roof.
Yes.
Actually, we may have actually been on the roof.
I think when like Craig stood up and hit his head. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So, but that match was all over the place, and that match was amazing. Those guys left everything they had on that stage. You could tell, and unfortunately, hindsight being what it was, Ciampa getting hurt with the neck injury, you could probably play a lot of this back to this match.
Yeah.
The unnecessary DDT on the exposed ring and the couple of other different things that those guys did probably played a significant role in the following year injury to Ciampa. So it's one of those things where it's like going back and looking at it, you're like, goddamn guys, really? But it's like, if we could have had that WrestleMania weekend match, the for the title, I think it would have prolonged this feud a little bit more. But it's like, I get it. Johnny gets the win, gets the embrace with Candice. But yeah, these guys really kicked the shit out of each other for probably 20 minutes, and it was really, really good.
I feel like, it's funny. I feel like cases like them, Steen and Generico, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, you can only have those kinds of wars with guys who are your best friends.
Yes. You're not having that match.
Those are the only people you trust to murder you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to get thrown through 96 tables. I'm not letting some random schmo do it.
Right, exactly. Mike, I would let you throw me through a plain glass window.
Oh, God. I don't know why you'd let me do that.
Well, if I had to let somebody, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was going to say, I don't know why you'd let me do that.
I mean, listen, if we had to fight, I'm just saying.
All right. Number 3 for you?
Number 3 for me, you also already mentioned Steen Generico. It's Final Battle 2010. Another one of those matches I was there live for. You actually said everything that I could possibly say about it. I just love that damn match. I love those two guys. Everything about them, everything about that feud, everything about them as a team. Just give it to me. Give it to me good. Give it to me hard.
Hell yeah. My number 3 comes to us from Money in the Bank 2011, CM Punk versus John Cena. I absolutely love this match. I thought this match was amazing. Punk, the leading into it with the "I'm leaving, I'm taking your title and I'm leaving," was awesome. I got so much fun out of all of those promos and the contract signings. I love this match. I love the build up to it. I felt like, especially CM Punk with the playing the role of "I'm leaving." I love the fact that I'm pretty sure that's the one where he came out. Wasn't it in Boston?
It was Chicago. I'm pretty sure.
Was it Chicago? Because I know there was one. I know there was one match where he legit came out and was facing Cena and came out in Yankee pinstripe trunks.
Oh, I don't know. I really I thought that the Money in the Bank was in Chicago, though. I thought that was part of the whole Punk promising he was going to take it. He was going to do it in Chicago, his hometown, yada, yada, yada.
Now I got to look because it's going to bug me. It did happen in Illinois. It happened at the arena we were at for...
That's what I thought. Yeah. Allstate Arena? Is that right?
Yep. No, I just remember he came out one time, faced Cena in a match, and came out in maybe that was the SummerSlam match.
That might have been the SummerSlam match.
I just remember I get there because they've had a lot of really, really good matches against each other. So
they really have, yeah.
That's why it kind of blended together a little bit. But yeah,
yes.
the Money in the Bank match was definitely the best match that they've had.
Yes.
So that's number 3 for me. So I'll give the floor to you for number 2.
You also talked about this one already. My number 2 is Okada and Shibata. Not just a tasty bread. Yes, I thought that match was absolute. You know what? That match is one of those matches, and it's kind of crazy because, it's the last match Shibata had. It might be the last match Shibata ever has. It was the first match where I was ever like, oh my god, I'm a Shibata fan, in every way. Yes. I loved everything about that match. I loved the story going into it. I love that it was part of the overall Okada title reign story where he was getting, he was getting weaker and weaker with every title defense. And every time it seemed more and more like he's just not going to be able to hold on to the belt. He's not going to be able to get another successful defense. And it seemed like that match was really the first one where it was like, oh my God, he's not going to do it. He's not going to win. And he pulled it off, but, he got there. Look, this match was, like you said, this match was so hard-hitting that one of the men literally may never wrestle again. That says probably everything you needed to say about that match. It was incredible. It just was.
Yeah, New Japan has the harder-hitting style. And if you're not known to that because you only watch North American wrestling or whatever, I understand. Ernest being one that probably wouldn't know how hard-hitting New Japan is compared to WWE and AEW. But those guys literally, and I'm not going to try to say this loosely, they beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
They beat the absolute piss out of each other. Those guys
left
nothing to the imagination. And at the end
of, part of me almost thinks that Okada borrowed $50 from Shibata right before the match and then flushed it down the toilet right in front of him. And it was just now do something, bitch. Yeah. But in Japanese.
Oh, do something, bitch.
Yes.
Yeah, those guys beat the shit out of each other. And like we talked about, Shibata hasn't wrestled since. And there's a real strong chance that he never does, which is unfortunate because that was the match that, like you said, that was I'm a Shibata fan.
Yes.
I always loved Shibata. I always thought Shibata was great. His never title reigns were really, really good. It was just one of those things where, unfortunately, he had the opportunity to do it on a bigger stage and got more people to believe in him. And the match that more people started to believe in him is the match that actually ended it.
Yep.
And that's the unfortunate thing that doesn't really get to talk about Shibata.
Yep.
So that one kind of sucks. My number 2 is the end of Mr. WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, WrestleMania 26. I loved this match. I will tell you very honestly, I cried a little bit during this match. I sprinkled a tear watching it and knowing that one of the guys that I watched grow up, the guy that I always wanted to meet and watch in ring as much as I could, walked away. I'm glad per se that Shawn went out on his terms and was able to come back after the back injury and leave the way that he really deserved to leave. Because I felt like that was a really bad way for him to go out. Kind of sucked for him. So for him to go out on his terms and, to have the encore of the first Undertaker match. So I'll always have a soft spot in this match. I will say that it probably wasn't better than their first match, and I'm thankful that their first match happened in 2009 because then number 2 and number 3 would both be Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels on my list.
Right.
But yeah, that WrestleMania 26 match got me in the feels.
Nice.
And I guess we're at your number 1 match of the decade.
Yeah, and you just talked about it not too recently, and not the one that you just talked about. My number 1 is that Cena and Punk match from Money in the Bank 2011.
Yeah, that one was an absolute classic.
Yes. No, that's just that was the first 5-star WWE match to take place in a long time. I don't know. It wasn't the last one to take place last decade, but it was the first. It deserves props for that.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like, I've been watching a lot of 2010 WWE recently. The style was a lot slower. Things were a lot different. The fact that Cena and Punk went out there and had an absolute classic is just, I mean, it deserves all the praise that it gets. And again, it's one of those matches where if you've never seen it, you need to see it.
Yeah, Ernest, go see it.
I will.
Good. My number one match of the decade is a match from New Japan. It is the Dominion 2 out of 3, no time limit, Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada.
Nice.
The IWGP heavyweight title. The story behind this one, the time limit draw between Kenny and Okada, where Kenny finally had Okada on the ropes, ran out of time. So Okada said no time limit, and Kenny said, well, let's make this a definitive thing. Let's do 2 out of 3 falls. This match went 65 minutes. I thought it was actually going to go longer whenever it was first announced because they did the no time limit thing.
That's what she said.
I texted Joe, and I was like, this thing could go like 85 minutes. I'm like, now they'd be freaking psychopaths to go 85 minutes with as hard as those 2 guys work. But if 2 guys in current day wrestling were going to go 85 minutes together, it'd be Okada and Omega, Okada and Tanahashi if you could get 85 minutes out of Tanahashi with as banged up as he is, and maybe Naito. There aren't many guys in the industry that are built to go 85 minutes. I don't think Seth Rollins is going 85 minutes. I don't think, and as much as I love him, I don't think Johnny Gargano is going 85 minutes. I don't think Adam Cole's going 85 minutes. Needless to say, I don't think those guys are going 60 unless they're in the Royal Rumble match. So I just, that match, another match where they beat the absolute hell out of each other, left everything they had in the ring. And it was finally the crowning moment for Kenny Omega, where he finally wins the IWGP heavyweight title. So that one will always have a spot for me. So.
All right.
I like that.
Matches, Ernest.
Huh?
Ernest, watch the damn matches.
The good thing about this podcast, so for me especially, is that I get a lot of reference points now to look forward to.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, you got a lot of reference points in the first 6 episodes. Eventually, they're going to not be any more reference points. So you're either going to get caught up or you're going to get left behind.
I mean, I have the network. I'll watch this on my leisure time. You know.
What, when the Heat are playing like the third end of a back
like
back
we said
back
before, baseball's no more priority for you. Basketball's no more priority for me.
But once the playoffs start, you'll have like weeks in between games, so that'll be fine.
We have like 3.5 weeks in between fucking game 1 and game 2.
Yeah, seriously, you can watch all the wrestling then.
No, you still got 4 games. You still got games no matter what in there. It's just that the singular teams have 4 games, 4 days between games.
Look, I don't watch hockey. I don't know. Actually, I'm going to a hockey game on Tuesday. That's besides the point.
No,
Ooh, I should look and see if the Panthers are here whenever you come visit.
It's a good idea.
Hell yeah. We're going to see the Blackhawks.
Oh,
that's the Chicago.
Anything
team,
else
right?
on the countdown? Top 10 countdown? Or are we done with that now?
I think we're good.
I got through 10. Joe got through 10. You tell me if there's anything.
I got through 8.
That's 7. That's 7 more than I thought you were going to get through.
This is true.
Our final take of the day is going to be a tribute. Michael, this is your go, right?
No, it's not mine.
Oh, Joe Lopez donation.
Yes, this is Joe's. It's not even a donation. Like, I mean, Mike is going to probably have more to say about it, and I'm okay with that. That's why it's part of the reason why I wanted to do this one. But it's not one that I don't feel passionately about as well. This is, as we all know, or most of us wrestling fans know, this weekend, these last couple of days at Wrestle Kingdom, were the final career matches of the legend Jushin Thunder Liger. He's hanging up the mask. He's hanging up the boots. He's calling it a day. He's calling it a career after a very long time, a very long run.
55.
I have no idea.
55.
Double nickel.
How much?
He is 55 years old.
Double nickel.
Nice.
He'll
I
be
mean, so the thing is, like, this
in
man,
November.
This man is a legend in every way. And before I pass it over to Mike, I'm just gonna say my own personal experience with Liger. First of all, his match against Brian Pillman at Super Brawl 2 in 1992. Was it Super Brawl 2 or Super Brawl 1? I don't remember. But it was in 1992. That's what I thought. That was the first match I think I ever saw that I could describe as like cruiserweight style, high flying style. That made me go, whoa. That made me want to see more wrestling like that. I was a WWF kid. I grew up watching, Skinner. I grew up watching Nails. Like, right. Like, these were not the people that were breaking out Hurricanranas and stuff like that. Right. Oh, God, I hated them. But anyway, these were not the people that were doing that kind of style of wrestling. And then I go over and I watch a WCW pay-per-view randomly. And, the first match you get is Liger and Brian Pillman, and they're absolutely incredible. And given the special look that Liger has, as a kid, obviously that was very appealing. And the fact is, he's never gone away until now. He's always been there. He's always been a legend. I've seen him live 3 times. I saw him at a JPW show, Jersey All Pro Wrestling show. I believe he wrestled Homicide at the Rahway Rec Center in New Jersey. That was the first time I ever got to see him live, and I wasn't going to miss that. I saw him at a Chikara show team up with Mike Quackenbush. They were Thunder and Lightning, and that was pretty incredible. And I also saw him this past year at Supercard of Honor, whatever the hell they called that show that ROH did with New Japan at WrestleMania weekend. He was only in what, like the opening, like the Battle Royal. So that was a little disappointing. I would rather seen him in a bigger match, but at least we did get to see him one last time while he was here. My personal biggest disappointment is that I had tickets to see him on his first weekend in America in forever back in 2004 when he came over for Ring of Honor. It was called Weekend of Thunder. I had tickets to go see him at the second show. I had front row tickets. I was so excited. And then college got the best of me, and I had too many assignments, too many classes. I couldn't make it to that show. My brother and my aunt got to go. So my brother has seen Jushin Thunder Liger front row, and fuck him for that.
You big man. You big man.
Yeah. I don't know that I would be a fan of cruiserweight wrestling if it wasn't for Jushin Thunder Liger. And that says as much as I think it could say. Mike, this is yours now.
All right. So, the story that is Jushin Thunder Liger has come to a close. When you guys hear this, it'll technically be Monday. The retirement ceremony will have already taken place for the legend. 55 years old, just turned 55 back in November. Debuted in March of '84. And when you think, like Joe said, of cruiserweight and high-flying wrestling, the first name synonymous with that style of wrestling has to be Jushin Thunder Liger. When I tell you, and anyone that wants to argue this can try to bring anyone else they want to the forefront, and they will fail. Jushin Thunder Liger is the greatest junior heavyweight of all time. He is the greatest cruiserweight wrestler of all time. He's, without a shadow of a doubt, the guy who's basically made that division a real-life thing. A lot of those guys, including your Will Ospreays and your Hiromu Takahashis, your Dragon Lees, guys like that currently, have a lot to pay homage to when it comes to Liger. It's fitting that Liger's final match included the now renamed Ryu Lee and Hiromu. I thought that match, I won't tell you who won, I won't tell you what happened, but the match itself was great. The respect that the two of them showed to Liger was great. Let's talk about his match earlier this year when he went back to being Kinshin Liger against Minoru Suzuki. That match was great. Those guys beat the crap out of each other. When you look back at the time that Liger had, he had great matches. He had listen to this heel stable that he had called CTE back in 2004 to 2007. He was the leader of this heel stable that included multiple-time never openweight champion Hiroki Goto, Minoru Tanaka, Black Tiger 5, Ito, Yato, Finn Balor, and briefly James Gibson.
It's amazing. It's really amazing.
From 2004 to 2007, he had Finn Balor as part of his stable.
Ooh.
He had James Gibson as part of his stable. Hiroki Goto, a main piece of New Japan for the longest time. I loved everything that Liger brought to the table. He never left amount of doubt whenever he came to the ring. He was a bigger than life attraction. He was really the first one in a while. When you think of larger than a life attractions, you think of Hogan, you think of Savage, you think of Sting. You have to put Liger in that conversation because the music, the theme, the crowd pop. You know, when he came over, it was always a big thing. He came over and had that match at TakeOver Brooklyn against Tyler Breeze. That match, as much as it was a okay match, the fact that it was Liger and it was Liger's opportunity to say thank you to WWE because, you know, as much as he never wrestled for WWE, he still understood that without some kind of competition.
He did that one NXT against Tyler Breeze.
I'm saying he didn't have a substantial run.
No, true.
In WWE, he had the match against Tyler Breeze. So he came over and had that match, and it was more like a thank you to the American WWE fans because he understands the greater scheme.
Dude. What if he goes into the Hall of Fame this year?
I'm going.
Is that the one? Is that the one that we go?
Yes.
That's the one we go for, isn't it?
If Liger gets inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, I'm going. It doesn't matter.
We had this conversation a few episodes ago, and we couldn't figure out the one. That's the one, isn't it?
Jushin Thunder Liger is the one.
We won't even understand what he's saying, and it doesn't matter.
I don't care.
Yeah,
well, it'd be Liger, Taker, and The Rock, right?
No, Taker's not going. No, so far it's NWO.
No. I'm saying general, like, because Mike said, well, he won't go unless it's somebody worth going to see.
No.
Oh.
There's one. It's Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah.
I'm not going for The Rock. Everyone's going. I'm not going for
Undertaker.
Undertaker's the only other one that may get me.
But like Liger's like no question. It's unexpected. I don't know that it'll happen, but
I don't think he goes in this year. I think it'd be like a next year or the following year kind of thing.
It'd be amazing.
I will go if Liger goes in, and that's not without a shadow of a doubt. When you look at the accomplishments and the championships for Jushin Thunder Liger, just to go over a couple of them. CMLL, he was the Universal Champion in 2010. He won the middleweight title once, was part of the World Tag Team Champions with Hiroshi Tanahashi there. He won the Open the Dream Gate title in Dragon Gate. Joe mentioned it. He was the Jersey All-Pro Light Heavyweight Champion once. He was the British Commonwealth Junior Heavyweight Champion twice. Won the Super J Cup in 2000. Won the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship twice. He's an 11-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. A 6-time Junior Heavyweight Tag Champion. Won the J Crown. Was the NWA Welterweight Champion once. Was the UWA Junior Heavyweight Champion once. He was the War International Junior Heavyweight Champion once. Was the best of the Super Juniors in 92, 94, and 2001. Was the G1 Climax Junior Heavyweight Tag League winner with El Samurai in 2001. Was the Young Lion Cup winner in 1986. Had the best tag team bout in 2013. And he won the Junior Heavyweight #1 contender tournament in 1990. If you look at just the years that I've mentioned, he was the best of the Super Junior in 92 and 2001. When you think of somebody who's had the depth of a career of a Jushin Thunder Liger, it doesn't exist.
No.
Liger is a one-of-a-kind talent, and Liger will always be the guy. He was number 8 in the PWI 500 in 2000, was 12th in 2003, and was number 47 in tag teams with El Samurai in 2003. He won the GHC Pro Wrestling Noah Junior Heavyweight title once, won the tag titles once, was the WCW Light Heavyweight Champion before he lost it to Brian Pillman. Wrestling Observer, gave him the best gimmick in 1989. He was the best high-flying wrestler from 1989 to 1993. He was the best technical wrestler from 89 to 92. Best wrestling maneuver, his shooting star press in 87 and 88. Match of the year in 1990 against Naoki Sano in Japan. Most outstanding wrestler in 90 through 92. Was rookie of the year in 84. He tied with a guy named Tom Zink. How'd that turn out? He's 2-0 in Lucha de Apprentice matches. When you look at the career of Jushin Thunder Liger, it's very easy to see that there will never be another wrestler that will do as much for this business top to bottom as him.
I'm sort of curious, Ernest, I know you're not as familiar with him as we are, no. But I know you know who he is.
But I haven't heard the name for years. I've heard the name, like, if you go through the independent magazines and dirt sheets and stuff, his name always pops up, always. Kind of like when I was growing up also, the Great Muta, same thing. You never seen him really wrestle, but you hear the names all the time.
Yeah.
You go to, like, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Power Rankings, Hogan Savage, and, like, it's like all the other names, like, you hear about. That's kind of like what Liger is to me.
But I think, what's interesting about that, though, is, like, you just put, this guy who was never a world champion, as far as I know, anywhere, never got to that point.
He was never a heavyweight champion.
Was still big enough where, he was a name that was always in every magazine, the same level as a Hulk Hogan or, like, Great Muta. Like, that is how much he transcended. Like, he wasn't just a cruiserweight. He really just wasn't.
Exactly.
35 years in ring and over 3,000 wrestling matches.
So he's been wrestling since I was 1, since Ernest, you were 5?
What year?
4? Well, he's been wrestling for 35 years.
I'll be 40 this year, so yeah, 5 years old.
So you were about 5 when he started. I was about 1 when he started, and Mike's parents might have known each other.
No, my brother was born.
Oh, okay. So your parents are happily together, just you weren't here yet.
Correct. His in-ring debut was March 3rd of 84.
Wow. Hulkamania just started.
How crazy is that?
So I guess this is the easiest transition I'll ever have on this show. The MVP segment. My MVP, the greatest junior heavyweight of all time. The innovator of multiple things. A guy who, when he goes in the WWE Hall of Fame, if he does, I will gladly buy a ticket to that. I think this is the easiest time to just say thank you, Liger-san. We'll miss you. You'll always be the best junior heavyweight of all time, and he's very easily my MVP pick this week.
Your like tributes are pretty touching, Mike. I have to say that. Remember the one he did on my podcast 5 years ago on Roddy Piper? That was pretty cool, actually.
This is why he was my best man at my wedding. He gave a really good speech.
Hell yeah!
And at my next wedding, he gets to start it with, "Hey guys, welcome back."
Yes. I'm glad you guys came back for episode 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we back. We back.
Guys, the series got picked up.
We back. My MVP this week, I teased it earlier in the show. Dustin Rhodes. I mean,
nice.
Dude, he, and look, I'm not going to criticize Chris Jericho, the way he looks, his little belly he has, all that, because he's a busy guy doing podcasts.
He's like 55 also. That's just real life.
Well, Jericho's 49 now? He's yeah.
Close enough.
And Rhodes is not far behind, like maybe a year or two younger, if not the same age.
Yeah,
but Dustin
yeah.
Rhodes is in incredible shape. Like, you can argue.
Yeah, but he's always been kind of
he looks better, actually, now than you looked at his gold dust in his peak.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
And
Jericho is 49.
And Rhodes is like 46 or something, I believe. Anyway, point is, Dustin Rhodes, he looks incredible, and his in-ring work is actually really good. Still.
Dustin's actually 50. He'll be 51 incredible. In April.
That's incredible.
Jericho was 14 when Jushin Liger. I like this game. Jericho was 14 when Jushin Liger started wrestling.
Jushin Thunder Liger.
No, but seriously, Dustin Rhodes honestly had a great match this week against Sammy Guevara, your boy Joe. And again, I agree with Mike from a couple episodes back. I think he should at least get a 1 month title run.
I agree with that. Yeah. Well, I think I said it first, but yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah.
My MVP. This is a week where like I like making jokes sometimes, but this is a week where I can't give it to anyone but Liger. I mean, I just can't. Like, he's going out in style. You know, I'll never have a chance to make him MVP of my week again, so he gets it this time. Absolutely.
He might get MVP of the week the week that he gets inducted in the Hall of Fame.
When that happens, we'll see.
If that ever happens.
When that happens, we'll see.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to tell you guys this. I wanted to do something where we like voted based off of the I guess now this is 18 people. Like, I want to do every 7 weeks where we vote for who's the MVP based off of who we've picked. But that's unfortunate because I'm just going to pick Liger no matter what for this 7 weeks. So we'll just start that.
Such a fucking homer.
I mean, let's do a quick rundown. My MVPs: Balor, Lee, PCO, Gargano, Andrade, Liger. I think Liger's
Don't challenge him on this. He will start reading all the stats again.
He has to keep track of this shit. I don't remember who I picked last week.
Oh my god,
Brian Alvarez.
Oh yeah, damn.
I had Lana's dress 1 week. That's all I remember.
that was week 3. Last week.
There we go. There we go.
Like the straight guy to the show, and then Joe and I just making some shit up as we go along.
I just like to keep.
I'm definitely not the straight one here. That's for
true,
sure.
Actually. But you know what I mean, though.
Yeah, definitely not the straight one.
I'm definitely not the straight one.
Well, this show is different. This show is very diverse. Got the black, the white, and the gay.
There you go. One of each.
Oh yeah, let's do it. So basically, before we wrap the show up, Joe, you're now flying in instead of taking a train, correct?
Yes.
So that means you're definitely bringing something PWG-ish or Ring of Honor-ish, so that we can have our watch along on Saturday.
I will try. It depends on if I get my stuff by then.
Well, you better.
Long story. I will try.
Long story.
I'll text you.
Okay. If not, I'm going on eBay. We'll find something.
And if not, like, I really do plan to try to get to you like at least once a month-ish, maybe around like the WWE pay-per-view every month. So
hell yeah, let's
yes.
All right, so that's the episode, guys. Follow me on Twitter at They Call Me Bern, BERN, and on Instagram at Fat Kid Certified.
Oh yeah, he's when are you guys doing your podcast away? Before you go, because you got to promote that too at some point.
I'm gonna download that thing that you sent me the link for. I'm gonna buy it and try it out, and I want to launch it probably within the next week or so with the launch of the XFL. Because me and Joe are bringing back the Super Crazy Sports Spectacular.
Renegades,
both Dallas Renegade fans. We're gonna root for the same team.
Yep.
So Renegades for life.
Woo woo.
And that podcast can also be found probably somewhere on Apple iTunes. Because it is part of the Earnestly Speaking Radio Network.
Yeah.
Nice.
Someone.
And I
didn't know we signed contracts, so I'm okay with it.
The whole thing here. Anyway, I think we're good, right? Well, Joe, what about you? Wait, Joe, Joe, your Twitter.
Wait.
Twitter.
Oh, wait, can I ask one thing though? When I'm there for the Royal Rumble, can we get some Jushin Liger masks and Mike and I put those on and we'll take a photo with you and like you're sitting at the table and it'll look like we just signed our contracts to be part of your podcast network. And you just post that photo, like two of us in our Liger masks.
If you like. I mean, if you like.
Mike, we need Liger masks. Stat.
Hold on. Jushin Thunder Liger mask.
Oh, it's amazing.
All right, so
anyway.
Next week, same bat time, same bat channel.
Next week.
You
Sounds
got
good
it.
to me.
Have a good week, guys. Bye.
Bye.
There's a mask on eBay for $48.